Hey guys, so this is going to be a little bit different than my standard videos on here. Normally I do like vocal covers and my own music and stuff that I write. But today, or tonight technically, I'm going to be doing a video game countdown. Something I've never ever done before. So this is actually my first video game countdown and actually my first video game affiliated thing I've ever done on my channel. And that's going to start to change because I'm going to start doing, more video game stuff. I'm not trying to, make my channel just like all those other video game let's playthroughs and stuff like that. Because I'm trying to keep, my music and then, the video game thing just, for fun, just to add to my channel and give it a little bit more of a change to it. So anyway, today I'm going to be doing my top 10 3DS games, at least that have come out so far. And these are all of games that I've played, so everybody in the comments, if you're saying, oh, where's this game, it's probably because I've never played it before. It sounds like I'm kind of repeating myself just like all these other, all the other video game YouTubers out there, but it's kind of a it's kind of a real thing. If you've never really played the game, you never had a chance to experience the game. So this is my top 10. Your top 10 is probably going to be different, but anyway, the 3DS is now my favorite video game portable system ever. It kind of topped the PSP being my favorite. I had the PSP for a very long time. I have a huge collection of PSP games. I'm going to do a video, sometime later where I'll show off, all my collection of PSP games, kind of talk about them a little bit. But for today, I'm going to be talking about the top 10 that I really like of the 3DS games. So anyway, let's get this started. So at top 10, I have Heroes of Ruin. Now, this game I picked up kind of at a whim, on a whim at GameStop. It was sort of $11.99. I was looking at the back. I'm like, hey, this looks a little interesting. I was a big fan of like the Champions of Norath games and stuff back in the day. All the really cool RPGs. That kind of style RPG, more of a multiplayer RPG, and I was a big fan of those. And I'm like, I'm gonna check this out. So, I played it, and I was really impressed. This game is actually really good. Obviously enough to be on my top 10. This game is a lot of fun, especially if you play multiplayer on this game. There's still a lot of people that play online, so if you can find a party of 3 other people and play together, you just destroy tons of monsters and just fight all these gigantic bosses. I mean, some of the bosses in this game are like God of War status for like the massiveness of the bosses. So this game is really awesome. If you hadn't had a chance to pick it up, I would definitely check it out. It's very cheap. You could probably find it even online, maybe even cheaper than I found it at GameStop. But really, really good multiplayer RPG on the 3DS. You don't really hear about that very much. For my number 9 spot, I have Castlevania Lords of Shadow Mirror of Fate. This game is really, really good. I wasn't expecting it to be that great. I picked it up, once again, this was another one that I kind of picked up at GameStop on a whim. Just because I was a big fan of the older Castlevania games, and I was not a very big fan of the newer Castlevania games. So any of the 3D games, like the actual Lords of Shadow games on the Xbox 360 or PS3, I didn't really play most of those. I played them a little bit. I'm like, this is not really my thing. I'm more like the classical Castlevania style games. Like Metroidvania and stuff like that. Like the big gigantic castles where you can just roam around, you have all this free space and stuff. I really like those kind of games. So this game happened to be that. It took it back to Castlevania's roots, but at the same time, it kind of kept some of the newer aspects of it. It had like some quick time events and stuff, kind of like God of War, which I didn't really care for that much. But as far as the rest of the gameplay, really awesome. You fight some pretty massive bosses in here, and the game itself, you play as 2 different characters, so it's kind of cool to see, both sides of the whole Castlevania story unfolding in this game, showing more off it and learning more about Castlevania in the process. So this game is a really good game, and I would definitely pick it up. For my number 8 spot, I have Animal Crossing New Leaf, and a lot of people probably have this on their top 10s. I never ever played an Animal Crossing game before this game. I heard a lot about the Animal Crossing games, but it just didn't really seem my thing. I just didn't really interest me whatsoever. Everybody playing it either at like the GameCube, the DS, or the Wii. I never really had a chance to play them. And then I picked up this game. This game was actually pretty expensive. I mean, I bought this for its regular price of $40. at GameStop once again, but I was actually recommended by like a few of my friends saying, "Hey, you need to get this game so we can be neighbors and stuff." So I bought it, and sooner or later, I'd spent tons and tons of time on this game. It's really, really fun. I didn't expect it to be that fun, but it just has so much content in this game that it just makes it really fun. And it has all these extra like little Easter eggs you can find and stuff, and some of them really actually kind of creepy. And I like the horror. Like one of my favorite genres of horror game, like of games, is horror games. So I kind of like some of the weird, creepy stuff that they had in this game. And normally I wouldn't expect an Animal Crossing game to ever have any creepy stuff. But then again, I never played one besides this game, so I don't know. Maybe there's some other more creepy stuff in them. But this is definitely an awesome game, and really, really worth picking up. It's probably about the same price as when it first came out, maybe a little less. Next one I have for number 7 spot is Resident Evil Revelations. I've played almost every single Resident Evil game that's ever been out. Some of them I really like, and some of them I didn't really care for. As far as Resident Evil Revelations, this was really good. It took some of the series' original characters, from some of the other games and brought them all into one game, and it is really, really good. It kind of went back to the traditional Resident Evil style, so you're in more of like those cramped spaces and you're walking around, and I like that kind of fear that it gives you, that sense of fear. From any kind of survival horror of like the older like 90s survival horrors. So this game definitely did it for me. It was really good, had a great story, and the graphics on this thing, really, really impressive. I didn't really see any other graphics like this on the 3DS, and it really actually made me think of the 3DS in a whole new way. It's just a really awesome game. For my number 6 spot, this was actually the first 3DS game I picked up, and I heard about this way before I picked up the 3DS, and I didn't really know if I would like it or not, but then I heard tons of people talking about how good it was and being really awesome, so I picked it up, and it's Kid Icarus Uprising. I played the original Kid Icarus back on the NES, and actually technically it wasn't back on the NES. When I was a little kid, I didn't actually grow up with an NES. Actually, the first ever video game system I ever had was the original Atari 2600 and the 5200 and the 7800. My dad had all of those because he worked for Atari. So that was actually the first ever video game system I played, and then we kind of went from like Super Nintendo and then N64. So I never really had a chance to play the NES, and a little while ago, I think it was like my sophomore year of high school, I started getting into retro gaming, and when the first few games that I played on the NES, one of them was the original Kid Icarus. And I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was pretty cool. But this game just threw that game and like blew it up. This game was really, really awesome. It was cool because it still kept all the original baddies and all the original characters from the original Kid Icarus, and then a bunch of new ones too. And then it, like on the bottom screen, it would show you what they originally looked like on the NES and then what they looked like in the game. And it was just a really cool comparison. And this game was just awesome. It's kind of a mix of like a shoot 'em up, and like a land it's mostly it's very shoot 'em uppy, and then more of like an action adventure when you're on the land. But it's very rail shootery, so you can't exactly move that much when you're in the air. It's very it's on the rails just like any standard rail shooter. And then on the land you have a little bit more freedom. But as far as the game itself, it's really awesome. I didn't expect it to be this good, and I really liked it. And the multiplayer on this game is really fun too. I spent a lot of time playing the multiplayer aspects of the game, and all the weapons you can get and fusing weapons and stuff. It was just really awesome and kept me coming back for more for quite some time. And obviously, I had this game a while before I had the other ones, so I had a lot of time to play this game because it was the only one I had on the 3DS at the time. Just a really awesome game. Now, for my number 5 spot, this one is actually only a digital download copy. You cannot find this as an actual copy, and that's what's kind of sucked. I didn't really care for that, but it's whatever. When you have to pick it up. But I actually got it. I got it for $30. So, because the fact that I got it for $30 was kind of cool. This is by Capcom, and of course Capcom is kind of going under a little bit. So of course I don't know if that was the reason why they weren't able to bring this out as an actual digital copy. They were only able to do it in Japan for a digital copy, but for America, for an actual copy, but for America it was only available as a digital. And this game is Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. This game is just beautiful. The first time I have ever seen an Ace Attorney game be in 3D and actually work really, really nicely, and the anime cutscenes are a really awesome effect to it too. But the whole game is just really cool, and it actually is my favorite Ace Attorney game I've ever played now. I just actually started playing the original Ace Attorney games on the DS a few months after I picked up my 3DS, and they really blew me away with the content of them, and just the whole mystery of the games are really cool. I never was really into that kind of game, but hey, it was really awesome, and the storyline was really cool too. So this game is the best out of any of the Ace Attorney games. And if anybody's wondering, yeah, this is the Pokemon Special Edition 3DS XL. It's the one I picked up, and I love it. I baby it like a little baby. For my number 4 spot, this is actually a Legend of Zelda game. And it's not the Legend of Zelda game that everybody's really thinking of. It is because I do have that game, but I've never had a chance to play it. So instead, this is the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. This game, I don't know what to say about it. It is just awesome. I was a big fan of the original Ocarina of Time, and this one just revamped the whole style of the original Ocarina of Time, and just the graphics totally got upped in this game. Gameplay is still there, everything's still there. Controls are even better, in my opinion, than the original Ocarina of Time. But the actual game just felt so much better on a portable console than an actual home console, and everything felt the same. I was able to take this to me with work. I mean, for about 3 weeks I was playing this game at work, and I can't really play like home console games at work, so obviously I have my 3DS a lot at work, and this game just is so awesome, and I got through this pretty quickly just because I played the original Ocarina of Time on the N64 before I played this, because I've been playing through the Legend of Zelda timeline, and of course that's amazing too, a whole nother story, but in this one, I played the Master Quest version, and everybody's like, the Master Quest version is like a lot harder than the original. But the funny thing is, when I got to the water temple, the water dungeon, I found it so much easier than the original Ocarina of Time on the N64. And the funny thing is, the water dungeon on the N64 version, I actually didn't find as hard as everybody else found it. I actually got through it rather quickly, and it wasn't too difficult. And then the boss at the end of the dungeon was way too easy. You just hit it like 6 times in the face, and take out that heart and slash it a few times, and you win. And it's just like, this is super easy. But this one, the water dungeon was even easier, and I found that kind of funny. But as far as the actual game, just really awesome game. Definitely worth the pickup, even if it's at full price at $40. For my number 3 spot, this was the game that made me get the 3DS. And you probably already guessed it yet, but it's Pokemon Y. I didn't get Pokemon X, I got Pokemon Y just because I loved Evital. I thought the design of Evital was really cool, and then of course when I actually got the game and was playing it, I found out Evital is like the most tank character in the game. Oblivion Wing just destroys everything. It sucks up the health and stuff. I know Xerneas does about the same thing, but I like Evital a lot better, and he's like my dragon destroyer of the game. But as far as the game itself, is so awesome. Best Pokemon game I've ever played in my life, and I'm a big fan of the Pokemon games, obviously. The best Pokemon game I've ever played in my whole life, and the reason why is because the whole game is in this gigantic 3D world, and you get to see Pokemon for the first time ever, unless you played like the N64 games and stuff, they have them in 3D, but for the first time ever playing in the regular style of Pokemon, to see them in 3D was just like amazing. Even when you turned on the 3D effect, it made things even more awesome, and that doesn't really change that much with most of the DS games. I use the 3D effect a little bit, but not that much. It tends to hurt my eyes if I play too much. But I just love the effect. Like, just the whole game itself was amazing, and then the ending actually made me tear up a little bit. And I've never ever had a Pokemon game ending touch me as much as this one did. It was so great. And then of course the Pokebank's supposed to be coming out soon, so I'm excited for that once it actually comes out. I was kind of annoyed the fact that it didn't come out already, because it was supposed to come out in like December. But either way, I'm waiting for that. I can't wait to transfer my black and white Pokemon to that. But this game is definitely worth the pickup, and if you haven't played it yet, you are missing it out big time. Now, my number 2 spot is a Mario game, and It's one of the best Mario games I've ever played. I mean, it was up there with like Mario Galaxy and even Super Mario 64, which happens to be my favorite N64. I mean, my favorite Mario game ever. But this is Super Mario 3D Land. Obviously, they have 3D World now, but I actually never really played 3D World. I played it a little bit, but I found 3D Land more fun, in my opinion. Just the whole world itself was really cool, and the fact that it really reminded me of like the N64 Mario, like Super Mario 64. This game just really took me back, and kind of gave you more of the older suits. You know, you could use them in this game, which was really cool. And then, of course, once you beat the game, you unlocked all this extra content and had me coming back a lot. And I played like 60, 70 hours of this game. So, just really awesome game, and definitely takes my number 2 spot. I think it's still around $40, but it's definitely worth it. And my number 1 spot, is a game series that I played a long time ago on the original Game Boy Advance. And this game, even back on the Game Boy Advance, was so addicting. I spent so many hours playing the game, especially with my best friend. We played a lot together, and it was just such a fun game. But this game is Fire Emblem Awakening, and the best Fire Emblem game I've ever played, and the best 3DS game I've ever played. This game is just awesome, and just the whole effect of the game is just beautiful. The actual visualization of the actual like cutscenes is just beautiful. It's one of the best cutscenes I've ever seen on any portable console. Not alone most, like a lot of regular systems. The cutscene was just awesome. All the cutscenes and just the gameplay itself was just back to the original style of Fire Emblem. But the fact that you can make it a little bit easier by saving your team members and they don't actually go away forever. Even though I played more traditional style because I liked that more. But this game just had so much to it, and I invested so much hours in this game, and it just happens to be my favorite 3DS game ever. I know there's so much people talk about this game, so I don't know what else I could say that's already been said, but this game is just awesome. Now, if you guys are wondering why I didn't have 2 specific games on here, it's actually because I didn't play them yet. I have both of them, I picked them up, I haven't played them yet, and I have 2 reasons for each game why I haven't played that yet. And the first one is Legend of Zelda, A Link Between Worlds. I picked this up the day after, the day it came out, which was actually the day after my birthday, and I haven't played it yet. And the reason being is because I haven't gotten to it in the Legend of Zelda timeline. This takes place during the last part of the timeline, or the last split timeline, where the hero falls. And obviously I'm playing that part last because it ends with the original 2 Legend of Zelda, so I think that's the best way to play it. But I'm really excited to play this game. I've heard so much about it, and I've heard everybody's saying it's like the best 3DS game. So obviously for now Fire Emblem is my favorite 3DS game, but this game looks just really good, and I can't wait to play it. And then the second one is Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance. I'm a big fan of the Kingdom Hearts games. It's another actual game that I'm playing through some sort of a timeline. It's kind of a crazy timeline, it mixes all throughout stuff, but playing through the series in basically the best way you can play it. And right now I'm on Kingdom Hearts 2, but I've not played this yet because this is the last game in the timeline, and I'm super excited for this one because it has all new Disney adventures and actually has my favorite Disney game, my favorite Disney movie ever, Hunchback of Notre Dame, as a playable world in this game. So I'm super excited for that, and then the fact that it actually combines forces and brings in the world and with the world ends with you kind of into the game is really cool too. The characters from the world ends with you. So I'm excited for this too. So anyway, that is my list. I hope you guys liked it. You can check out my other videos in all my in my actual channel itself. Most of them are all just songs I wrote or music covers and stuff, and obviously I'm going to continue to do that. You can also check my Facebook page, Trevor James. That's where I have all my music and stuff like that. And I started an event called Winter of Covers, so if anybody hasn't checked out my covers yet, or any of my stuff describing Winter of Covers, that's all over my Facebook. So anyway guys, I hope you have a great night, and yeah, that's my top 10 3DS games ever. Basically, whatever's out right now. So, hope you guys like it. Later.